fight, and Purge is able to break it down even further than T-Gov did.
Thanks, Cap. Yeah, that T-fight was extremely crucial towards Winstrike winning this game, or trying to win this game. I think one of the really important things actually was the observer on the cliff up here for Team Spirit at the top of the screen. Because of this, as soon as these smokes break, the vision is going to be amazing for Team Spirit. They're going to see all of this here. And while the Blink Hex was a little bit over eager, they were able to trade out Lion for the big Mars ulti. I think this is the biggest mistake of the team fight, though. This Savage Roar is used on the Mars, and I don't really see a massive purpose here. Lion is screwed, guys. He's trapped in the Mars arena. What is he going to do in here? The Roar goes directly onto Mars. It wasn't like a precast on the PA or anything, and as a result, Storm jumps the same moment. And then at this point, it's like dive onto the Beastmaster kind of thing. And the Uber escape looked good at first. It was like, things are going kind of iffy. But then this monster crit came out. I checked the damage log. He did 1,800 damage with that crit after reduction total in that fight, which is a massive swing. He cancels the Uber the moment before that comes out, and as a result, they're forced to continue to take this fight at a disadvantaged position. But imagine if Beastmaster had Roar in that moment instead of wasting it on Mars. It would have at least bought them a couple seconds of time from the PA BKB. It would have given them a better fighting chance. Maybe that ulti doesn't come out. They can delay the Uber. They can spend time right-clicking the right heroes. They can have better BKB timings here. But they ultimately hard commit to the fight. Maybe Gyro should have just left as well. And ultimately a catastrophic team fight for Winstrike. Gotta cast those spells well.
Yes, indeed. And you got to hit the crit button. Well, if you're PA, 1,800 damage
spread
in
across
one hit
4 heroes, I think.
after reduction, all because of cleave and crit. Pretty insane.
Yeah, they nerfed Battle Fear on creeps, but they didn't nerf it on heroes, so still 70%.
I will put out there, though, Team Spirit now, 3 games, they beat Beastmaster. So this team is single-handedly making Beastmaster look like a normal hero, which means it might not get, nerfed. So I think Spirit, they're not doing us a favor. They're actually hurting the community by beating Beastmaster so easily, game after game after game.
Yeah, can you guys stop it?
Can you just stop beating Beast, please?
Game 3, Beastmaster banned, yes or no?
I'm fine if they want to do the same thing on Team Spirit's side.
Yeah, I think Winstrike ban it if Spirit can get it, and I think Spirit leave it if Winstrike wants to pick it.
Okay, we'll have to see how the draft order unfolds with Game 3 right after the break.
Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Storm Spirit!
It'd be a massive victory for Winstrike if they could close out this series. And as desperate as they are,
10
Team
seconds
Spirit is
remaining.
confident that they'll be the ones to do it. After all, they just won that game
5
2.
seconds remaining.
They go ahead into our third draft with Beastmaster out in the open. Winstrike says, fine.
We'll be
I like
your
that.
own game.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's cool. I think Spirit though, I feel like they just go for the Beastmaster themselves because this game, it felt more like an execution thing where both drafts are very even. Winstrike had a timing to play for. They kind of misplayed a little bit. And then, of course, PA outscaled. So I wouldn't be surprised if Spirit themselves, they either go for a Void Spirit or for the Beastmaster +1.
I'm sorry, but are people just locked in too much onto this Beastmaster? If the enemy team is first picking Storm, if you just ignore Beastmaster as a hero, surely their draft sucks. If you're looking at this.
Storm's good.
I have to
Like, Storm
imagine-
first phase is legit good. If you ignore Beastmaster, I still think this hero is first phase. That's the Void Spirit.
first pickable.
I think the
Situation.
meta is so favored towards mid laners that farm, and Storm Spirit just checks so many boxes. This patch, it's like very strange, but like you don't need reach on like any other hero on your team. You just need some sort of follow-up. There's so many heroes that pair well with them.
10
There's so many
seconds
supports you don't want to
remaining.
pick into him, like the Oracles, the backline saves. I don't know. It's
5
weird to think
seconds
Storm could ever
remaining.
be a first pick based on like what we know about the hero, but I think with the way bottle works and the runes and your timings, you're just gonna reliably get your game, and you don't have to carry it. You don't have to be like we saw what Toronto Tokyo did that game. He like did a gank, went back to base, did a gank, went back to
Yeah,
base.
he was very active.
He was not. He didn't really care about his own timings.
Okay, so Spirit go for the Oracle once again.
They did pick the Oracle in this storm. Now that's interesting.
I do like though when the concept of you play against someone who has
10
big
seconds
cats, but you
remaining.
pick a hero who kind of is like the big target. You know, Oracle is now in the game. It's like,
5
yo,
seconds
hit me.
remaining.
If you jump me and you kill me, then my cores will be able to jump and kill you. But if you don't jump me, I'm saving my core. So I like the idea of picking one support or one hero in your draft. That is going to be that big, you know, target on the map for the Storm to
Yeah, you do have to pick
think
something
about.
else like that's gonna immediately jump the storm when he jumps the Oracle, though. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess Void Spirit somewhat does that already, but okay,
Oh.
let's go for a straight Timbersaw.
That's another
Radiant
hero
team
that
back.
feels like something about the patch, something about the meta is being elevated to a kind of insane point. I mean, this Timbersaw is being picked up. He's got no strength heroes.
It's quite simple. Sanj and Kaya buffs and Shard buffs.
But also the gameplay, right? You know, the idea that mid is less dependent
10
on supports now.
remaining.
So if you have this independent offlane, it unlocks your full not to only help
5
mid if needed,
seconds
but you can just
remaining.
instantly
Dire
pivot to
team
that tri lane at minute 4+. And now you're going to be independent offlane, crushing the safe lane, and your mid should be going well because there's like enough resources there for
Radiant
everyone to go.
team
Every
back.
time I play offlane and I'm against a Timbersaw, like he's on the other team, and I know I'm not laning against him, I just get 3-man ganked at like 8 minutes into the game every time. You know,
that's true.
and they just sit in my lane
Dire
continuously.
team
So what
back.
happens is you inevitably have this Timbersaw who's like level 7, the opponent offlaner is like level 5 or 6, and the pressure surmounted on the Timbersaw's team is way less than how much the Timbersaw's dishing out. Just annoying, man. The point that I make is that Timbersaw's always been strong early. He's always created a lot of
Radiant
pressure,
team
but
back.
nowadays he actually scales insanely well. The slow from the shard is insane.
Why
and now it does
towers?
building. Yeah,
Why-
now it does.
why?
Let's just give it building damage. It was already bought like every game.
Like
last
VP was
match.
picking it, Alliance was picking it season 1, and you know, it's like, you know what we need to do?
We need to buff
We
the
need to-
item that
yeah.
guy always buys.
Yeah, the guy that they liked.
10
Let's make it better.
seconds remaining.
And the Sanj Kaya buff, like, it actually gives you mana. I've been trying out a lot of
5
mid heroes,
seconds
like Queen of
remaining.
Pain, Leshrax, where you just go like first item Sanj Kaya, and you actually have so much mana. And I'm just saying, Timbersaws now, they go like Sanj Kaya Lotus with no other
Radiant
items that give you
team
mana, and they actually have enough to work with.
I
Obviously,
think
they got that too.
that concept bothers me of giving a hero Like he has a
Something
clear
he's
weakness.
never had. Yeah.
And being able to fill out that weakness and say, okay, now you no longer have that glaring, like you're supposed to, and especially in
10
Dota, you're supposed to,
seconds
individual heroes are supposed to have very strong strengths and very weak weaknesses. And what
seconds
makes the
remaining.
team composition very important. You
You have to
back
have a
each
little
other up
bit.
in that regard, right?
I entirely agree with you there, wholeheartedly.
Another thing about the Void Spirit for Team Spirit, of
Dire
course, it's a very
Team
comfort hero for Toronto Tokyo. They can play it in the Flame with Collapse as well, so a little bit of flexibility there. I think Void Spirit naturally don't like jumping heroes that are innately tanky. He wants to jump in, execute, and disengage and just disrupt the fight. That works well against a Storm Spirit. You can go for the Orchid build or the Ags build, even Yules. This can all annoy Storm
10
Spirit,
seconds
but you're never going to see Void Spirit
remaining.
jumping the Timber at any point with confidence. So, okay, now they go for the AA.
AA is like traditionally countered by Oracle though, because the way Oracle ulti works is that it registers all of the heal at the end of the ult. So the ulti of Oracle, as far as I know, is longer duration than the AA ult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just lay
You
it
have to get
nicely.
the
10
Academ
seconds
Scepter to.
remaining.
Well, the Ags, it doesn't work that way anymore.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so what happens
5
is even if
seconds
you've been
remaining.
healed a bajillion times during the AA ultimate, as long as the Oracle ulti is after the AA ult, you'll still get all of it.
But less about the healing factor. AA is still a very strong laner. He can be super disruptive. And he's a hero with good attack
Dire
range to
team.
deal with what...
You think he's a strong laner, huh?
I do. I think
I feel
the
like
chilling
he's
touch
not.
is good.
Maybe I'm just had poor experiences with AA players, but
Well, it's also a product of having the correct carry with you, right? Like, you need that Wraith King, that troll, that guy who can just bully with. Obviously, in
And-
like a 1v2, it's not so
10
great.
seconds
That
remaining.
carry probably does need to have a disable here.
Yeah.
Got a timber.
Some slow, some
5
some
seconds
disable for sure.
remaining.
no, the
The-
thing is, I don't think you need one though, because you have a storm. You can just pick like Nyx or something like that in the 4 position, and that's all you're disable. I liked what Team Spirit banned out because they realized they're gonna have to deal with this Timbersaw, and there's 2 ways to deal with Timbersaw. You like 5-man gank the Timbersaw, or you completely ignore the Timbersaw and you pick on somebody else. So they actually banned out Jug and Lifestealer, 2 carries that are incredibly difficult to interfere with on the map.
This Tide Hunter, he's going to have to rush BKB in this game. Playing into a Timbersaw, you naturally... Tide Hunter's meant to be the front line. Obviously, Timbersaw can throw the Chakra, the Whirling Death, make you feel pretty squishy. I guess the one saving grace for Tide Hunter, unlike other strength heroes, the
Dire
Kraken, you
team
can
back.
purge off the Whirling Death. You can kind of somehow feel a bit better than most strength heroes, but yeah, it's...
I'm a bit surprised they went
There's the
Wraith King.
Wraith King, yeah. That's the laning combo. Like
I think
mentioned.
it's very good. They always talk about either CK, Wraith King, or Sven, but I particularly worry about his laning stage. It's weird because Wraith
10
King, I
seconds
thought got nerfed a
remaining.
lot by the Swift Blink nerfs, the Abyssal nerfs, the Rapier nerfs,
Radiant
but yet
team back.
he's just going armlet and feels like the same hero.
I guess the key thing here is that what Winstrike have identified is where is the damage right now for Team Spirit? You got 4 heroes, and none of them with
They
confidence
do not have damage.
don't
I
do
agree.
anything. Right.
I
It's
agree
all
with you.
about propping up that carry to be that guy. This is why anti-mage ban comes into play, because
10
Team Spirit, they're going to be
seconds
super
remaining.
annoying to kill. They're tanky, they're elusive, they're going to prolong
Dire
fights and
team back.
engagements around objectives.
I wouldn't mind like a Slark ban. Even though you have AA, I think any prolonged fighting carry that benefits from Oracle will be very potent for Team Spirit.
How about like a troll as well? But then again, into AA with the whole...
It's okay with Oracle, but like I don't want a carry
10
that
seconds remaining.
like I want a carry that gives them that bit of catch. Because yes, you have the Void Spirit,
5
but you're kind of
seconds
lacking. I
remaining.
think Troll gets kited. I think a hero like Slark would do much better.
Well, this is where if they had any other position for him, maybe a bit more magic damage, I would be talking about maybe like a Void where you just jump the Storm, kill him, you ignore the Wraith King.
Yeah.
But then because there's a lack of damage here, like Void just looks even worse.
I
And
think you need a hero that threatens Timbersaw because you've got like some decent rotators from the from the Rubik and the Void Spirit, but like if you imagine the carry, I think if the carry for Team Spirit doesn't threaten Timbersaw, then you're never killing this Timbersaw in the first 12-15 minutes of the game.
Ursa and Troll are some of their most played carries that are still left.
Ursa. I guess it's okay. I'm not a big fan of Ursa this patch, but I take that back. I'd be okay if they picked Ursa.
so of course on paper looks like the bit of a one, but again,
Radiant
Spirit, they do
team
have
back.
ultimate last pick, so they're going to be able
They
to
ban the Ursa.
fully identify what's happening. Yeah, they take away the Ursa. That's fair play. So carries available for Spirit. It's going to be maybe the Troll just for the Oracle pairing, maybe a Slark, but playing into AA might feel a bit uncomfortable. Lack of lockdown does play well for a Slark to have free reign. And so at
10
Winstrike, they still
seconds
need to pick
remaining.
up their position 4. Bans from Spirit of the Earth Spirit. What's left?
5
Tusk is already
seconds
banned out by Winstrike. I would like to see an active 4 that can play off the fact that Timbersaw can be left independent. A little bit more control as well would be good, but again, you have to kind of think forward about what carries are going to be picked, right? So if you want Troll, if Spirit go Troll, you want a bit more lockdown. If Spirit go for Slark, you need hard lockdown, not roots and stuff like that.
You might want to just go Nyx. I think because you don't see their carry, you just want to do something that has synergy with your other support. And Nyx A has been like classic for a long time.
That is the classic, but my fear for that is simply the grouping of Spirit, the play style. It often aligns for the 4 to huddle around that 1 quite quickly, and then Nyx won't have that type of gameplay where he's always finding that perfect vendetta.
I just think if he gives information, the Storm Spirit will jump the heroes that
well, that's a nice
need to get jumped.
Talk about information, they ban out clock.
Yeah, I like the information game. Even something like Bounty.
What are they going to go for? Okay, they go for a tiny.
Yeah, Bounty had never been bad because of Oracle. Didn't really have time to.
And now, yep, Spirit.
Slark it up, baby.
Yep, they just need a carry, elusive carry to punish the lockdown most likely, and to play, away from the 4. Join when needed, rinse the map when not needed.
Troll would be okay if they want to do like some steamroll
5 seconds
into
remaining.
Roche. I think Slark's better for like the map movements of the game.
It's just so hard because like you're laning into a Timber. That's so annoying, right? They pick a Timber and you're like, like Ricky could be kind of fun, but then it's like
no, you can't pick that.
No, exactly, you can't. Yeah,
that's Timbersaw for you.
Yeah, that's the effect.
Troll's actually fine though. Troll can lane against Timber.
What are they gonna go for?
Gyrocopter.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We've seen Gyrocopter beat Timbersaw lanes before.
Yeah, no, that was the one we haven't mentioned, but yeah, it can lane into Timbersaw.
Maybe it is different with Oracle. I actually don't know, but Gyro is typically countered very hard by Ancient Apparition because the way you scale is by standing still, flacking people with the Satanic on.
That's true.
So maybe it changes with Oracle. I learned this one from Kyle where he talked about how Ancient Apparition hard counters Gyro. One of the few times where I've been like, wait a minute, he's onto something there.
Okay.
Shout out to Kyle for one of the 3 things I've learned from him.
BF Shame relying on Kyle analysis, meaning you're gonna go against Team Spirit?
Yeah. I'm down to be wrong that Oracle like changes the dynamic of that, but yeah, I think Gyro's pretty bad in AA.
Mr. T Governor?
I think the Gyro does help with the whole how does the 4 of Spirit really get into the game. That Gyrocopter, the early game damage will enable them to run over an opponent. But I think the scaling of the Wraith King would eventually come to a point where it's like, how are we killing Timbersaw? How are we killing Wraith King? And this game, it kind of reminds me of that Alliance series where they had Timber Wraith King. It looks really rough. You lose a couple racks, whatever. And then suddenly, boom, you buy and you run down lanes and you just can't be killed anymore. So yeah, this is very much Spirit to win early. If they don't, Winstrike, too tanky, can never kill.
Neither one of you concerned about the play inside of the game? We saw Winstrike, very notable.
I have to go off the draft and what I think will happen, but obviously I do think Team Spirit executed better.
Team Spirit has had better execution for sure, but I feel like Winstrike, they should identify quite quickly what happened in game 2. They played well game 1. Game 3 should be quite even.
All right, let's get the names right this time. Our casters, Moxie and Fogged.
I thought it was going to throw us a curveball and just
Prepare for battle.
completely different names, honestly. Yes, we have a game number 3. We have a game number 3 here, Fogged. Sorry about that.
I was like, I can't hear you, Mox.
Nope. But, I'm excited. Game number 3, we've got a lot on the line here. Definitely, I'm sure Winstrike would love to, be able to boast that they went and they slew Team Spirit, especially because they are coming from the lower division. And they're really, they've been playing very, very well. So, do have a little skirmish here. Looks like, nope, they're going to back off. They don't really want to take this just yet.
Yeah, it looks like both teams have gone for their own style this time around. Just really confident heroes that they are comfortable with. The 4 positions on both sides for me are kind of the question marks. The Rubik pick, I didn't really see anything that you were just like, oh my god. Besides it being an instant lockdown for the Storm Spirit and stuff like that, it wasn't some like standout Rubik thing. Same for the Tiny. So I'm going to be looking at the 2 positions quite a bit in the early game, seeing what they can actually accomplish. And looking at Spirit, actually, they're getting the wrap around here. Rebel, you'll be able to spot them out.
Doesn't seem though.
He's dead.
Yep, they just open up. They've got the root in place. They've got plenty of them, which is going to avalanche over on many of them, but it's not looking great for Rebel. He is going to be the first one to fall. Collapse now. Also running away. Body block a little bit here from Maposhka. But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, he's still managing to stay alive somehow throughout all of this, so. Look at Daracha. He thought about going back in there, but nope. They just want to back off. They want to get to their lanes, and they want to start hitting creeps.
Yeah, 2-for-2 bounty exchange as well. So Winstrike was at least able to claim that bottom bounty rune before Rebel did die. And it's going to take them a long time to get up top. And now also, Tide has Gush skilled. So I feel like the top lane, Wraith King is going to be quite happy about that.
It's going to make his life easier for sure. Not having to deal with, you know, that anchor smash or anything like that. But yeah, the fog of war just enough. And I mean, that is something that we saw that was a change recently. You know, the fact that it stays nighttime until a certain point. And they also placed a nice ward down to get that vision on the storm early on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love the nighttime beginning. I think it's a really cool change that's really been in Dota. I think it's really nice they're able to do these sneak plays. I think this Gush top is going to be really impactful. Now overall, your entire skill points just feel weird. If you want to be like level 1 and 2, you want Kraken Shell and Anchor Smash for the lane so that you can bully him a little bit more. But you know what, the Gush versus Wraith King isn't really the worst thing either. Because Wraith King does have such low armor that perhaps he was going to just skill it anyway. And we do see that armor coming into play right here.
Yeah, look at that. They just chase him away here. Does have a salve though coming in from Phantom, so be able to heal up, but a little surprised with the amount of damage they picked up that early. As Yamich here too in the bottom lane, they need a little bit more, and yes, he is going to fall to Yatro.
And this, actually, no, the top lane might just be, it might not matter, even then he got Gush. It might still just be too much for the Wraith King at some point, because the AA overall is a bit of a weak laner versus Tide Hunter. I think with the AA with the Wraith King, that's what causes the combo to make AA strong, but overall AA in the lane, it's just not really that strong. So I do think the collapse is going to get a lot up here. Dyrachyo, though, does seem like he's also going to be able to free farm.
I think you're a little bit more concerned in the fact that, you know, the Tide Hunter, of course, coming online a little bit faster, a little bit earlier, will cause some problems for Winstrike because they do have to play so fast. But again, we're seeing that combination that we talked about before with Cold Feed, with the stun. Not going to be able to quite finish off Clef, but the damage has indeed been done here. As Merit does manage to go and get a snipe off on the courier. Collapse, though, is... that is true. Collapse, of course, though, is going to need a little bit more regen here.
Yeah, Mira had the salve just brought out of the courier, so we'll be able to instantly salve up his Tide. Bottom.
Just skirmishing back and forth.
Yeah, just constant battles between the two of them. Cheshire Cat, he should be fine. It's just, yeah, Mitch's positioning has to be a little bit careful for this Tiny. That's what I was like a little bit, you know, I didn't really get why they picked the Tiny in the game, but we'll see what he can do.
So I know that our panel was pretty split on the whole idea of, you know, the fact that you've got a gyrocopter, right? Gyrocopter wants to kind of stand in the middle of everyone. He wants to just hit people with flak. But then, of course, they have the Ancient Apparition over on the side of Winstrike. So, you know, normally speaking, not super great feeling when you're playing that gyrocopter, but does it get changed with the fact that you have an Oracle on your team?
Yeah, I do think so. He can negate pretty much the Storm, the Timber, the Tiny, and the AA entirely. Like, it's going to be able to just take out so much of that damage. Even not even just with False Promise. Like, if he just throws a Fate's Edict, it's going to be able to protect versus a lot of that burst. And yeah, the False Promise, if it's timed properly, it'll always counteract the AA. And then the Lifesteal will kick in anyway for the gyrocopter. So yes, I think overall, the Oracle should be able to do quite well. And it's Miposhka. This is like his most practiced hero. So his positioning is usually quite on point.
Yeah, he was fantastic in the other games that we saw when he was playing the Oracle, of course, being able to negate a lot of that damage coming out from the magic spells and whatnot. And we even saw, you know, Oracle earlier today as well. I believe it was in the game versus Na'Vi, being able to just negate all the damage coming out from Luna just because you have a good firm understanding of your spells and you sit in very good positions.
Yeah, I think this hero is definitely one of the best 5 positions in the game at the moment, with all like just the crazy burst that I'm seeing so many teams have. Is Tokyo and Rebel both want the rune. Rebel it's the boots, so he's just a bit faster. He'll steal that one away from Tokyo, and
now the brothers will take a moment to stare at each other. We do have a little bit of lag though, unfortunately, it seems, so have another quick pause.
This could be a weird spot for Rebel, because I see the Rubik is rotating over. Rubik has boots and a spell. So I think Tokyo might just actually battle with him and just body block him until Rubik gets over.
Seems to be the play here, as he takes a little bit of damage, but again, Mira with that rotation. Throw out a couple of these hits here. The lift, the toss right back in again with that Remnant, and Tokyo will happily collect a kill on Rebel.
It was cute. You know, it was a cute move from Rebel to like, he rushes boot and bottle like immediately with no other stat items in between, so he can steal runes away. But Mira, heads up move, playing around this 4-minute rune as well, and also just to stack some camps, he gets a fortunate timing on that rotation. Yeah, Mitch will stack the small camp so that his Storm can keep getting that good farm. Even though he did die, he is still having a good time. But look at these runes. The double water runes is going to be taken away. Spirit's going to get one on Tokyo. Mira's going to take the other. And Rebel will not be able to fill up his bottle again. Yeah, but he does have full health, so.
Still hurts though, right? That's one of the perks of being able to play the Storm Spirit right now is the fact there are so many runes available. So you really do have a lot of options. But again, not the worst thing in the world.
No, definitely not. Cheshire Cat's still only level 3 bottom. He's having a little bit of problems. Whenever the Tiny leaves him, it's actually quite a lot of magic damage between the two of them here, Oracle and Gyro.
They're gonna turn this right around over here on Mira. They've got the slow, and with Yamich being here, the toss up into the air, that's a dead Rubik.
Very nice. Diracho's still able to farm up here anyway versus that Tidehunter, so that'll level out. Collapse also getting something, but Yamich might get the courier. He wants it. It's dancing.
Oh, he's trying. He can't quite get. There it is.
There we go.
Those wards and the clarity. Mira's not getting those today. No siree.
No. And now he's left Cheshire Cat bottom. He has the levels to be able to tank up decently. There does have to be careful still, Cheshire Cat. I see he's bringing... Okay, good. He's bringing a Raindrop. I was about to say he should probably get like Bracer or Raindrop to make himself a bit tankier since it's so much magic between these two. So should be able to get still something down here.
The top lane again. The Gush, the toss back again here with Diracho. It's not quite enough damage to finish him off, though. And I do like the way that the bottom lane is playing. The fact that, you know, whenever there is no Tiny in that lane, they are going to play aggressive. They're going to be all up in the face of this Timbersaw.
Dude, I mean, look at Yatoro's last hit. He's starting to fall kind of behind on the Gyro. The Wraith King lane is actually going a bit better than this Gyrocopters is at the moment. And my God, what's going on with
There's a
thing?
lot.
Like
Yeah,
crazy.
there's something going on here, unfortunately. Out to Tokyo is going to have to do a quick disconnect. But yeah, the pressure, you know, we've got level 5 now here for the Timbersaw. So starting to catch up a little bit. And, you know, Maposhka and Yatoro, between the two of them, I mean, that's always been one of the perks of playing an Oracle too, right? Is the fact that once you hit that level 3, you've got the capability of doing a decent amount of nuke damage. And then paired up with something like a Gyrocopter, of course, you're going to be able to output quite a bit of magic damage from him as well.
Yeah, if the lane's like very close to the Radiant Tower, that's what's very problematic for Cheshire Cat. Even if he gets like a couple of Timber Chains off, they have so much chase. But if he is able to do stuff like this, where he actually pulls creep aggro back toward his tower, he's in a safe position to survive. Because they need like 2 or 3 sets of spells for the Oracle to actually kill him. Raindrop might save him too. So if he's close to tower, he should be quite safe. And this is actually an interesting one to point out. Rebel did not even take a point in Vortex. I actually haven't seen a Storm do this in so long. It's every time you hit level 4, you always take Vortex. He skips it.
Why do you think that is in particular?
I think just thinking about the farm game, like he died twice. So he's probably just like, my God, I need to just focus on myself and just play inside the jungle for the time being until I hit like level 8 to make a move to counter gank a side lane.
Okay, so just trying to do the recovery game for the time being. And doesn't want to get too distracted by taking too many, you know, weird initiations or fights in the meanwhile, so.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's still weird to see. It's going to make him, like, if he does gank like one of these side lanes and he doesn't have pull, like he'll just completely miss the kill because they don't have extra disable. And they are quite limited. You know, that's kind of, I was talking about it too. They have a Wraith King stun, they have the Tiny combo, and then it's just Storm for their control. So it is a little bit lackluster.
Seems like they're still doing fairly well. I mean, again, we talked about the top lane, the fact that you've got the Ancient Apparition paired up with Wraith King, kind of a classic duo that can put out a decent amount of damage. Especially, you know, we watched the Tidehunter as he ended up falling, or not falling, but, you know, getting a lot of damage placed upon him during that. Wow, that Wraith King looks absolutely ferocious there from this angle. My goodness.
It's got a good
angry man
on right there.
Ooh.
I like it.
Pretty nice. But yeah, you know, we talked about the fact that the Wraith King is looking very good in terms of, you know, the CS, and the Gyrocopter falling just a little bit behind. Not, you know, horrifically so by any means, but definitely want to be playing very quickly on the side of Team Spirit.
Yeah, now Collapse is much safer up top now that he does have at least, you know, he's level 4, he's got Point and Kraken, doesn't have to worry about the chain stun of the cold feed and just constantly controlling him, since he'll be able to dispel one off. He's a lot safer, and seeing moves around the map constantly now. 6 minutes checking the runes. Team Spirit constantly helping Tokyo. I see this every time they play, they double check runes quite often. They also can stack Storm. Mira already has triple get a hard camp and double at Ancients for Collapse to be able to farm and catch back up, because he is having a little bit of a tough time on this Tidehunter.
Dire's bottom
I mean, this
tower
is just the nature of the lane, like we talked about. Yes, you know, he's tanky, he's got the Kraken shell, so he's going to be survivable, but he's not going to have the greatest time. So I do like the fact that they are trying to, you know, take care of him. We are seeing the Timbersaw though, making a rotation to the top lane, so
He can kill Tide quite easily with the chakram.
getting it. Cold feet for maybe a little more damage here. And I mean, Collapse is really making them work for it. The body blocks are coming out. He's trying to juke around the trees. But you know who hates trees and cuts them down easily? It's Timbersaw. So he's going to ensure that Collapse will fall.
I love that move so much by Cheshire Cat. The moment he hits 6, he goes top. Wraith King's gonna kind of go jungle. Timber doesn't want to be down bottom. He can play around this top and mid area. And I mean, I think he'll probably just still leave the lane for the AA, but I love that he makes that pressure play on
Dire's
the
bottom
500.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think it was entirely necessary because, again, he's very tanky. And, you know, I was in the middle of saying, you know, they put pressure on him, but they haven't been able to quite get that kill. But when you have that rotation from Cheshire Cat, that makes it way easier. And that's definitely the person that they need to slow down right now.
And actually even cooler. So they're actually going to leave the Timber up there to counteract the Tidehunter, and they're going to send the AA bottom to soak up the levels. AA can die, because a quick little setup of anything will kill him, but if he's able to pull lane back, he'll get maximization, great efficiency coming out from Winstrike.
Definitely seems to be the name of the for them. It's really smart adaptations and what they're playing against. And I really love seeing when teams are very dynamic in the way that they play. But Toronto Tokyo here does manage to grab himself a haste rune. Does have to be a little bit careful because he doesn't know where people are situated right now on the map. So just gonna back off.
And it's Winstrike, its efficiency is the name of the game right now, just like you're saying. Look at the way that they're playing. AA soaking bottom, Timber soaking top, Wraith King farming jungle, Storm farming stacks, Tiny soaking mid. So all looking perfect the way that they do have this set up right now for them. However, looking at Spirit, they also have their thing going, right? That quad camp, hard camp now has been farmed for Collapse, so he's caught right back up, and they have that triple ancient set. So both teams are being quite efficient with their movements at the moment. I think the supports, though, on the side of Winstrike are going to be a bit more leveled because of this AA able to soak bottom.
It just seems to be a gentleman's agreement here on the top lane between Cheshire Cat and Collapse. Not really able to do too much to one another at this time, but
No.
Dracho?
Actually, showing up in the mid lane, I would be so pumped. If I was Yamatek mid, but that's my fault. Like,
Get out!
what's the point of you guys go jungle on Storm Racing?
Right.
I'm at 4 position struggling for a home. Either way, it's fine. He's able to get the farm, and I guess they want to be active. AA has sit 6, so perhaps the tiny AA can actually just look for a setup on almost everybody here. A lot of damage.
I do like the fact that both of us just watched Sriracha just run in mid and we both had the same exact reaction, like, sir, excuse me, what are you doing here?
It's like, I'm farming here, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, he's not afraid of anything at this time. He knows that, you know, the rest of the side of Spirit, they're still, you know, trying to farm up, trying to protect the Gyro, and just doesn't have to fear anything at this time.
Yeah, they're just gonna leave the Racho mid to keep farming. They're gonna send the Tiny to soak the lane where the AA was soaking. And they're gonna play around the ruins. Very passive early game here. 10 minutes now, both teams just playing their own style. Just like we saw Team Spirit do in the last game, it's just all about playing to their own strength.
Tokyo was thinking about it, just gonna dodge away. Goes right back in the end though. He has that haste. The Vortex though, toss it back. Guys, will collapse over onto Collapse with Phantom, and he's going right back into Avalanche though. It looks really nice. It'll buy them just a little bit more time. So Collapse and Tokyo will back off.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Tokyo, still with the haste, wants to make the move top, but it's Cheshire Cat with the hood and level 4 reactive. He just take the troops off the tower. They're killing this guy until Mirror 6.
I mean, you don't pronouns. If you manage to slow him down, they've got that remnant. They've got the hit with the missile. Oh, he doesn't quite manage to go and just they managed to take down Cheshire Cat. Beautiful play coming out here from the Rubik.
Mira God. What the?
Perfect timing.
Times the lift, so it cancels the chain across, and they get the kill just because of that. And I'm surprised they actually get that kill versus Hood in level 4 reactive and chip vest. All right, Spirit.
Well, I mean, again, if they don't get that lip off, he is just gonna hightail it out of there. But look, the chain goes out, and
Dire's top tower
look at that.
is under attack.
Beautiful.
Frame perfect. Picture perfect, honestly. Couldn't ask for more from you, Rubik. Is Yamich making the move top?
Top lane, they'll get the jump over onto Yafro, the toss back as well, and it looks like they should be able to take down Maposhka, and just a couple clicks here. Tokyo also now on the back foot. Miraz just got that chamber chain, so he's going to be able to zip on out.
Nice steal. Great play from Yamich. 4 positions are impressing on both sides here. The Rubik and that Tiny. Rubik with the first thing, and then Tiny catching the Oracle, tossing him
Dyer's
on
middle
top of the
tower is
gyrocopter so he
under
can't
attack.
get the save. Really nice hit by Winstrike up top.
Radiant's
Is that the
top
Orchid
tower
done?
is under
I think
attack.
it is already finished. So
Radiant
Rebel,
are scanning.
very early timing on his Orchid, just straight up rushing with no stat items in between.
It's actually going to make things so incredibly scary for pretty much the entire team, other than maybe the Tidehunter, right? Oh, and
Dyer's bottom
a
tower
regen
is under
rune
attack.
on top of that, so just ignore collapse, and I think if you're the Storm, you go hunting.
Radiant's top tower is
This,
under
this Storm
attack.
can like just
Dyer's
evaporate the
middle
supports in
tower
particular.
is
Now
under
Void Spirit
attack.
Tokyo, he has his Yule Scepter done, so he has a way around it. So the cores is probably a bit of a tough target for Rebel, but these two supports very vulnerable to this Orchid right now. He's got the regen too, so he can make some active move, but they don't feel like they need to. Deracho is able to get this free farm. He almost has his
bottom
relic
tower
for that
is
Radiance
under attack.
online. It's looking pretty good for Winstrike right now.
And you can see the side of Team Spirit grouped pretty tightly
Dyer's
together over in
top
this
tower
mid lane.
is under
Of
attack.
course, they don't have the Rubik right now. He's just trying to shove out the lanes. One of those supports that has that capability. Surprised that they haven't tried to make anything happen, considering that they do have the Ravage online for Collapse. They've had it for a while now.
Yeah, and it does feel like they might have to make a move soon. Like, Tiny gets a Blink Dagger, then it's going to just make it much easier for Winstrike to just cause havoc inside the fights. Just pulling targets away from the Oracle, right? Like a toss back, and then Oracle can't actually get in position to sit. So, yeah, this downtime, I feel like it just does benefit Winstrike. 'Cause I like Wraith King carry overall much better than Gyro carry. I actually have not been seeing the Gyros have too much success across the board.
Yep, I was going to ditto that. And we've even seen it with the IO pickup, too, and it just never feels super memorable, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I really do like the way the Wraith King's going to be able to scale in this game.
It almost makes me wonder if they were hoping that they'd be able to pick that up for the side of Team Spirit instead. We have seen Yatoro play quite a bit of it, especially in the first season. But you can't leave it in the pool like that. It is a
Dyer's top
hotly
tower is
contested
under
hero.
attack.
Still, even
Especially if
after
they
all
have
this.
AA.
Radiant's
They just needed the
bottom
stun
tower
hero,
is
and they had
under
the Wraith
attack.
King still open, so yeah, it was nice. As Tokyo, he smoked trying to get the hit onto Yamich. They want to kill this Tiny in particular, but Winstrike's prepared in the area.
It's like they might get a little bit of a fight over here by the room. The toss up with Pulsey Collapse, though. Have the root coming in hot here. They'll change it up. Follow up. Yamich gets stunned. We will fall. Ice Blast connects over onto several, but there's just no follow-up damage right now. They don't want to do a hard committal.
Radiant's top tower is
Nah,
under
they
attack.
have to give up the tower probably too. When it was Pressure Cat, he can at least spam it, but they don't want to take a fight around without the Tiny. They still need a lot more for Wraith King to farm, so this one, it looks like it should get taken down by Spirit quite soon.
Pressure out here, but it's taking them a while. They don't have necessarily the greatest tower hitters at this point in the game, so.
Yeah, Cheshire Cat's feeling himself.
Yeah, he really is.
Vortex too, like just a little amp up. They're too scared to actually pressure, because if they just like overstep by just a bit too much, they will just get killed by the chakram and all that, but
It's like they're going to turn their attention instead to the top lane. They do have a nice ward over here. They saw that Rebel have been farming, so perhaps they can make some moves. But look at this, already Cheshire Cat realizing that this is their play. It's going to go just push the creeps off the tower, and we do have a big smoke coming from the side of Winstrike.
Winstrike, I'm loving the way that they're
Radiant's
playing the map
bottom
right now.
tower
Like,
is under
this Wraith
attack.
King's getting full free farm. Look at, like, Team Spirit, they're bringing their carry up here to try to pressure, but Cheshire Cat's just in the right place. Behind us. Gonna throw it behind.
And they get the, they managed to burn down this timber. In fact, they will do it. They follow up with a nice wrap over onto two. The zip forward, though, coming out for Rebel. Yamich not able to get taken down here as they get to start turn around. Dracho now running for his life, as so is Rebel. He doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of mana, and somehow Team Spirit is just chasing them down one by one. They're looking, they drag them right back in with that Aether Remnant. That's going to be the reincarnation. Waiting patiently now, will come back up, and they just have so much burst damage. Yamich trying with that avalanche, but it's not enough to save Dracho, as Yatoro does eventually fall. I know Rebel, he's out of mana. He can't get out of this. It's not looking good for him at all as Collapse just smacks him with the anchor. Whew.
they forced it so hard on the side. I thought they were just gonna play. Excuse me. I thought they were just gonna play around like
Dire's
tower
top
defense there with
tower is under attack.
the Timber Saw, but they even call the Wraith King in over and force a fight, and they whiff the Ice Blast. He actually quite targeted in front of himself. He missed everyone. That was quite a big mistake there from Winstrike. Right after I was praising them too.
You casters cursed them. Oh, a little bit off the mark. Well, they weren't off the mark this time here, as Void Spirit is able to just step out, sitting a little low. Got Maposhka here, though, is going to be able to keep him alive and healthy.
Yeah, that was... I can't believe they brought Duraccio over. Like, he had Radiance done, too, and he TPs to the end of the fight before the Radiance is even on him. Like, oh, they had such a good setup for all of it. In Spirit, they take a big fight just into everything there from Winstrike, just preparing. Because they moved away from their tower. They should have just stayed fighting around the tower a little bit better.
Dire's
Felt like it was
middle
tough too the
tower is
entire
under
time. It
attack.
felt like the Storm Spirit didn't have much mana anyways when he first jumped into that fight as well.
Yeah, he's been trying to get the big pop on Yatoro, and then the Ice Blast just gets blown right in front of him. Like, he just whiffs completely. Literally just double clicked or
Dire's
something.
middle tower
So they messed
has
up their
fallen.
initiation, their go, and yeah, it really caused quite a bit of problems.
Radiant's bottom
Costly
tower
mistake.
is under attack.
For the side of Winstrike. But they're still sitting, you know, they still look pretty good right now. You've got this Wraith who's been farming exceptionally.
Yeah, they're still in a pretty good spot. Like, the Wraith King's still great, just like, it's such a sad way, because he just got the Radiance, shows up, he doesn't even have it on him. He actually has it on the courier and then dies to it. So it's just an approach
Radiant's
that Winstrike
bottom
didn't want to
tower is
happen.
under attack.
But on that matter, it's like, if they just waited maybe like 10, 20 seconds more, it would have been a different story. Especially if they were fighting around their tower. Instead, they get peeled down to the south side where the ward is already covered for Spirit. So a bit of a weird one.
My pension.
Double damage snapped up now here by Cheshire Cat.
They have the blink now on Yamich, so they should have easier attempts of just initiation and better ways to just blow up one of the targets for Pantomim and Yamich. But they need to find the Oracle. Still going to be the same thing as getting to that back line, finding Maposhka so they can't get these saves off.
I do have to say, like, Maposhka has been just so good with his positioning.
Always.
It's a difficult thing to play an Oracle into a Storm Spirit. Like, it is actually so incredibly hard. But he's managed to get off all of his spells. Even if he does die in fights, he almost always manages to get off the spells necessary. Looks like Pantomim, though, is going to walk right into Toronto, Tokyo, and Yatoro. And look at this. Toronto, Tokyo doesn't even bother. He's like, all right, I know my boy's got it. He's going to keep looking and see if anyone else is left behind here.
All that
Radiant's
bloodthirst.
middle
I'd
tower
love to
is
see
under
players,
attack.
especially mid players, having that. It's like, you don't go for the one kill, you always go for the next. I always see Toronto, Tokyo doing this in every single one of their games. Always goes for the higher priority target. Is they were trying to take advantage of the fact that Reincarnate was down. Even though they didn't have their Ravage, they tried to just still fight because they're feeling strong. Reincarnate's now back. Maybe a little harder to pressure Duraccio.
And they know exactly where Rebel is. Like, every time. They have great just
They do.
vision over there in the dire jungle. I'm surprised that they aren't trying to make more out of it. I guess it's hard, though, right? You have to have the right setup to jump the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, they don't have the most disables. They do have some decent ones with the Lift and that Aether Remnant, but yeah, it's definitely a little bit complicated until like Collapse has Blink Dagger in particular.
Well, more grouping up over here in the mid lane. And again, Cheshire Cat's just going to throw the Chakram out, try to push through, and
did
Rubik
he
will
give
get
away?
himself a nice steal there. Will be able to push lanes out himself even more efficiently. And it looks like they're thinking about just walking into this Roche pit. It's pretty difficult for the side of Winstrike to get in there when you consider the fact that Collapse does indeed have Ravage. He's got a pipe. He's got saves coming out here as well.
Radiant's bottom
I don't know.
tower
Do they,
is
too
under
hard.
do they
attack.
contest?
I don't know if Winstrike can approach. No, I think that they don't have the same amount of. If it's just a walk-in approach, like this, Idon is gonna get a great Ravage. Ice Blast is down now too, so
Yeah.
Spirit they can reset, wait for that to come back off, and either smoke and look for a fight or just jump right in.
Is this a situation where they should have been ready to jump in immediately after the Ice Blast instead of using it as a
They
scout?
weren't in position.
Oh, speaking of position, Cheshire Cat, I know you're feeling very mighty, my friend, but you are not that mighty against what they can throw out against you like that.
Not versus Chakram and Iceborne. Sorry, that's on his. But just Chakram. The fact that Mir is able to steal level 2 Chakram, I think they have to kill him as Phantom is also looking to go down very soon from Tokyo.
Yeah, it feels like Tokyo's just playing with this food right now. Does have to be careful, though. So zip forward, a poke again over on Pantomim. They have Collapse nearby, the Gush. Collapse on a killing spree.
And Spirit, just continuing to impress with their movements. Now they still have Ravage. They got the Roche, so now the next upcoming fight, they'll still have it. They'll be able to take the fight versus Winstrike, and it's starting to get a little complicated for Winstrike. What they want to do is they have to get BKBs online if they do want to look to actually fight into this Ravage and Gyrocopter. They do have the one, but they have to get the second one on the Wraith King to be able to follow up. But that means also that Duracho's not going to have Blink for the instant follow-ups that we see is so crucial for most of these Wraith Kings.
I mean, on the bright side, he is managing to find farm all over the map. He's doing a great job. He's keeping up neck and neck, of course, with the Gyrocopter. So have to look at that positive side of things here for Duracho. He's very good at that, I find. And that he's always managing, even if, you know, things are looking really tight, he always finds that farm on the map.
Yeah, and his only death was his team calling him to go fight with him. So it's quite sad for him. As DD does spawn bottom. Okay, Rebel will have that one in the bottle with his BKB at the ready.
Ooh, they might run into Yatoro here. They have the smoke up. They're hunting. Yeah, they have the scan. Should immediately be backing off.
Collapse just puts himself right in the front of it all because he's the one who wants to get initiated. He'll just get a great Ravage if that's the case.
Look at the way they're hugging the tree line here, Duracho. Being patient as well. We've got Cheshire Cat very forward. Collapse will show himself. See Yatoro as well. The stun off, put out a little bit of that damage. Not a hard committal by any means here, as the rest of the team still waiting. In a very nice position. Drop down a sentry. Duracho coming forward. Going to put a little bit of damage over onto Duracho. Followed up the chakra. Zip through coming out from Storm. He's looking back. He wants to get rid of him here. They want to get rid of that Oracle. They do manage to go with the reincarnation. Follow up with the Ravage as well. Push buying back in Duracho. He is going to fall here. As Yatoro and the rest of the crew, they're looking over on the back lines. Rebel is out of mana for the most part as Toronto Tokyo is looking. Yamich, though, will be able to provide some of the backup. And they just keep throwing out these great dispels, trying to keep this Gyrocopter alive. And somehow they finally manage to take down Toronto Tokyo. And they just separate the fight so nicely that they're able to find it. They're not going to be able to go and just cancel out any of these TPs either. So pretty nice fight here coming up from Winstrike. A bit of a shame that they end up losing the Wraith King, but they take out the mid, they got the Ravage, and they took out the Tidehunter to boot.
That was definitely, it was a really good fight. They couldn't get the tier 1, yeah, which kind of stinks, but man, that was crazy, the plays. Like Rebel just diving into the back lines for the Oracle. Miposhka actually pre-casted Fortune's End on himself, so the Orc hit him. He dispelled it instantly, but it didn't matter. He died. It was a really cool play, though. Definitely wanted to highlight it for him. Because he did get that little playoff, but overall, great fight from Winstrike, just surrounding them and somehow killing the Tide, killing these right targets, forcing a buyback from the Oracle, avoiding the Gyrocopter Aegis completely.
Man, just look at the way they split up this fight. They got the Ice Blast off this time around, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah. And Collapse not able to heal up at all inside of all of it there. And they're able to just reset with the important heroes. And Tokyo, I don't think he expected to die. Like, if you watch this up here on the top left, he drops so low, he gets the Dissimulate off, and then he gets hit by like an overload hit when he still had an Astral step up. So perhaps he could have played around it, but just takes a little more damage than he expected.
Very nicely done by Winstrike.
And they needed that. So it's looking a little bit scary. And now they do have their triple cores very full. And Tokyo dying has slowed down his progress for his next item quite a lot.
So a bit of mirroring coming out now from the side of both the teams. See that there's some play coming out from Winstrike in that bottom lane. They want to put some pressure down on the tower, and they're trying to find safe farm up here for Yatoro and the rest of the crew. But it's still very neck and neck. This is really been a very fun series to watch, honestly, because you're never sure what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's super close. It's really up to the huge jumps from Rebel. I'm really watching like the Storm Spirits have got able to get the Oracle every time, especially in the next fight, because he did use his buyback, Miposhka, in the last one. So if he does get picked off in the next fight, he won't have it for a very long time. So it's going to be a pretty big window for Winstrike to get access into that fights.
Both of these teams just going to end up trading the tier 2s, not looking to go in for any other battles. And Dracho's going to keep going forward. Top lane, though, it's taking a lot longer for them to take down this tower.
Yeah, Duracho's got BKB, so now he's feeling probably pretty invulnerable inside of those fights, and he needed it. In that last fight, he just got completely full focused. His team did most of the cleanup. Now he'll be able to actually contribute something with this team. So could see a very different fight coming out from Winstrike this next one, where they might just crush the fight.
Yeah, like you said, it's difficult when he doesn't have the blink. It's just kind of soaking up most of the damage, but with the BKB now, he can walk in and he'll be able to actually do things. instead of, oops, nice find here. With that Yule's follow up. There's just too many heroes here for Collapse to survive.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's a nice find here for Duracha.
Mini2 is right about the BKB on the top. It might be something he actually does need. Just Timbersaw and AA, they melt him. They make him look not like a Tidehunter at all.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he was very isolated up there alone as well. So I can definitely see the necessity of a BKB, considering what they've got throwing out him. But at the same time, a little bit of positioning there too.
Yeah. In the last fight though too, it's like if he gets hit with the ice blast too, they throw out everything on him. Timber can't kill. I mean, it's not the biggest priority for his team. He just wants to soak all those spells and just get a good Ravage off, so maybe it doesn't matter.
Spirit though still hanging on to that mid tower. It's about 27 minutes in. They just haven't been able to quite crack it over on the side of Winstrike.
Invisibility.
It's a very important tower for all of those Roches.
Most definitely is, and the next Roche is probably going to be the big decider from both sides where that big fight does kick off.
You can see already just the way that they're positioning themselves around. They're trying to get some vision, trying to take down any sort of enemy vision as well.
Radiant's
And
middle
I think a
tower
blink
is
dagger
under
just got
attack.
picked up there.
Ooh, and was it Duracho? Yeah, he does. Okay. So Duracho blink. They have Halberd on Cheshire Cat too. Like his itemization so far in Cheshire Cat this game. The pipe Yules into Halberd versus that Gyrocopter going to be very effective. Very tanky.
Step forward from Toronto Tokyo. Just trying to get a little bit of a drag back here. Zipping over from Cheshire Cat. Timber chains in. Just pokes though. Just little pokes here and there.
Mirov really wants to steal Chakram again. Just looking out for that spell. It's the best steal he... Okay, it's the second best steal he can get in the game, but he shouldn't get the best one, which is Ice Blast.
Right.
Phantom should never give that up.
Like when you see a Rubik grab the Phoenix Egg too, you're just like, should never happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Winstrike, meanwhile, taking up residency in the bottom area of the Radiant jungle. And they are smoked up. Doing a little bit of a hunt. They've left Cheshire Cat over in the mid lane. Collapse. Get the spot off. Here, Duracha opening up with the blink forward, but Toronto Tokyo zipping on through. Collapse not able to go on, use that Ravage right away. He's waiting patiently, though. Fairly tanky. Rest of the side of Winstrike is backing off. They're looking to re-engage again. They'll heal up the Tidehunter. They're just so reluctant right now.
Yeah, they're both just like waiting for one of the others to overstep their hand, and then they would both jump backline. Like Tokyo tried to force it onto the AA, but he couldn't actually quite finish it off. And Storm's just waiting for a moment to jump either Rubik or Oracle. Because as we said, Rubik, Mira, he did get the Chakram steal. So it is, we said, like the best spell he should be stealing in the game, and he's got all that crazy caster. So it is a threat that Strike does have to respect.
Yeah, some of those neutral items dropping as well. We'll be seeing different items picked up. Got the Cloak of Flames right now over on Gyrocopter.
Gyro might hit a little bit of a faster timing in the Wraith King in the next few moments. He's able to finish the Butterfly. That could be pretty huge for them versus this Wraith King. He does have to still watch out about all that big burst, and it's starting to be kind of Gyrocopter versus the world, perhaps, as the rest of the...
Yatoro, oh, the initiation coming out from Yatoro, but he's got the BKB and he's got the Oracle there to keep him alive. Immediately following up. Get the steal over here from the Rook, who has the Rainfire Blast, but we've got the BKB on Rebel. Toronto Tokyo, still alive. Spider Legs just helping Collapse run away, and they just don't want a hard commit. They did manage to take down Maposhka, but they're diving underneath these towers. You have to be a little bit careful here, as you can finally see, there it is. There's the Ravage. Damage will go down. They've overextended over on the side of Winstrike as Rebel next to fall. They've left Cheshire Cat behind. He's very, very tanky, but they've got plenty of solutions here. They'll taunt him. They'll get the kill on Cheshire Cat. And now the rest of the side of Winstrike. I don't think they were expecting that.
No, they got to kill him at Poshka too, right? Where he doesn't have buyback available still for about, I think it was like a minute when he did die. He didn't have that buyback available. They just push forward too far. They keep going just further and further and further, and then the Ravage comes out and connects on everyone. That was just a bit too far of a dive trying to get to that Spirit. And that's really going to hurt, because now we were saying, that next big roach is the biggest thing. That's going to turn the whole game, and they're going to get it for free now probably on the side of this.
Definitely working away over at there too. And also just keep in mind the fact that Maposhka we talked about the way that he gets these spells off. He still manages to get off the major spells before he dies.
Yeah. Somehow. Blink Dagger now too, so he's got to have better positioning in these upcoming fights, even though he has died. I'm just watching him shovel, in case you haven't looked at Miposhka's inventory. It looks pretty lovely right now on that Oracle. You know, he's got 5 salves, quad mangoes, stuff. So
Hey,
shovel definitely being
salves are amazing on an Oracle player. Just,
They are.
Just throwing that out there, you know?
Yeah, shovel on Oracle and IO is amazing. You're always going to be able to pump up and feed your cores very nicely. And the other thing to point out too in the fight is Mira actually got the gem from Winstrike. So now they have a big advantage on vision too, which has been pretty important, it feels like, especially for Winstrike to get that big jump.
Yeah, you know, you've got a Storm Spirit, and while he does have that zip, you never want to zip blindly in, especially when you consider what they have coming out from the side of Team Spirit here. So definitely a great steal. And the Ag Shard, of course, was picked up over on the Void Spirit. So
I like it.
feels
More damage.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a plus here, especially when you're trying to play very, very fast.
And you can just reset further. Like your reach and your ways of being able to get out of fights also becomes quite large with that shard pickup too. As now with that fight, with an Aegis, with his Cheese and Shard, they also now have Ravage back up too. So Winstrike, that last move has really hurt them in the overall control of the game.
This is something so simple that they just committed too hard, diving past the tier 2 with still a tier 1 up as well.
Yeah, I can't believe that tier 1 still up. I think it had to have been just this bloodlust of just being like, Miposhka's dead, no buyback on Oracle, right? Where they're just chasing for these kills, but yeah, just a step too far, especially versus Ravage when BKBs are.
4K net worth lead now, going over to the side of Team Spirit at 33 minutes in now. And they feel like they've kind of hit their stride. And again, not knocking Winstrike because they've been playing very well, but just a little bit of that overextension got them on the back foot and has allowed the Roche to get taken.
A couple mistakes can hurt so much when you aren't playing into a that I feel like it's so control. It's like even more than ever. Just being
they want Yamich. Step forward. They find him. The ice is just a little bit off the mark. And they'll blow him up. Oh, they've used the Ravage! And they didn't grab him! That's huge. Oh, you've got to be so happy here.
What a crazy play from Winstrike. The scan was caught out. I thought they were alone, but he actually just jumps into an AA blast and everything. That was a very precise hit.
Look at that. A little bit off, like by a millisecond or two.
And now no Ravage. So now perhaps Winstrike can fight. A little bit of sloppiness coming up from Spirit after a nice bit of a momentum gain.
I'm over here.
The BKB, so he should be able to just run away. They have no ways of being able to stop him while that's up and running. Although they do have the missile now that the BKB is over. They're still running after them, though. They want this kill. They get the lift off. They should have. No, they've got one more hit. Kenya throw gets the hit off. Oh, he's trying this. Rebel will fall. Miposhka does get taken down by Duracho over on the back line. The BKBs have run out now, though, so Mira will be the next phone call. They're coming out. Trying to man fight here with Duracho, but they've got the chakram. It's just slowing them down, and it's just so much damage. So, again, that Aegis is going to get used. As now Collapse waiting patiently. They know that he doesn't have the Ravage, though. The toss up into the air. The step forward coming up. Duracho, though, does get a lot of silence going, but not enough to save anyone, as now he has to be careful that he doesn't fall as well. But thanks to that shard, the outer ring, he will hightail it out.
All this is a result, though, of that Ravage being used on the left side and Tokyo getting picked off, too. They overplay their hand a little bit on Spirit, chasing the Storm, who overplayed his hand because he runs out of mana, and we have some crazy situations happen. I love these type of games. Mistakes make games way more exciting.
You can tell they really, really want this, though. Both of them are feeling that pressure. They would like to get this victory.
One of the closest games I think I've guessed. But it feels it still feels like pretty much dead even though there's an Aegis. There was an Aegis on the gyro, and we did have that little bit of throw back and forth. It does feel quite even, as Duracho's got the blink, he's got the MKB to counteract that butterfly that we saw coming into play. All about execution here at this point.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I definitely thought, I was like, okay, you know, yeah, they're going to put up a good fight on the side of Winstrike, but Team Spirit has just been looking so flawless. It's a kind of a big, pleasant surprise. It's Collapse, very tanky, he's going to be very forward here, does have that Ags. He's going to draw a little bit of the attention, has the Ravage up in about a second as everybody is grouped around. Is he going to go for it, though? He doesn't have the rest of the team here. They'll use the save here, coming out from the Oracle, but... Nope. That looked like the...
Radiant's middle
Died to
tower has fallen.
promise? That's,
That was the false promise, right?
did he just die? Wait, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, that was false promise.
Is something dealing damage through it? Was the flamethrower killing him through it? Did I see something wrong?
I don't know. We're gonna have I believe Purge is weathermanning this one. Perhaps that's something for him to look back at.
I
But
gotta reset.
yeah, so he's got the flamethrower. There's the false promise. Gosh, he pops.
Oh, he moved his wand? Wait, what? He moved his... What killed him?
I think it just...
I'm so confused. I have no idea what happened. I don't know how he died there. He's affected by false promise, isn't he?
It looks like the false promise ends though.
Oh, it does end. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm blind. I'm so sorry. Okay.
There's so many particles nowadays. It's actually so hard to tell on it. Like,
Does it?
that's what it looked like. It looked like it just popped
Dire's
at the very, very end here,
bottom tower is under
right?
attack.
It's at 3/4 duration. It's not even halfway through duration. He just dies. I'm so confused. All right.
I don't have to go back. It might feature bug, depends on which side of the game you're on, but it looks like they might be able to get a kill on Cheshire Cat.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because he purged off the Whirling Death, right? I think it's the Whirling Death that causes some weird stuff with the stat loss, and his stat loss ended. So his percentage, but why would he? I'm still
I don't know.
confused what just happened. Actually,
I don't know.
Like I'm trying to wrap my head around the mechanic, but
Yeah, Purge.
it's
Weatherman.
something with Whirling Death. I have no idea what else it could have been.
It's always fun when you get to see these strange interactions come. And usually, you know, in the past, it was when Loda was playing, right? Loda seemed to find every single bug in the game. Poor guy.
Yeah, I that's the only thing that I
Something with
I don't know,
Whirling
it's
Death.
still really weird about how he does die though, because he still shouldn't.
Yeah, because I thought I saw the false promise end, but like you said, it shouldn't have ended at that
Dire's
time.
middle tower is
Still
under
had the
attack.
duration.
Yeah, because even if he's below percentage for Shatter, he's affected by false promise.
Right.
And that was one of the weirder interactions I think I've ever seen. As we still see, I mean, they're still all grouped
Dire are
together. They still
scanning.
have Ravage and everything. Fights are still going to be very close between who gets the jumps. And we have Roche in about 40 seconds. All right, finding out about Roche in about 40 seconds. So getting these wards around the area are going to be...
That was a bit odd, though. Like, I feel like... Again, part of that could be just because we had a strange interaction. Like, the way that Collapse just, like, goes running out of the base, right? He's got the Gush, just keeps trying to, you know, reduce the armor, but the rest of the team not in position. So, you know, he jumps into 4 or 5 different heroes right there and doesn't manage to get the Ravage off, obviously, because I think he had a little bit more time. Perhaps. Still not entirely sure there.
I'm going to have to watch it like 20 times.
Yeah. I'm actually very, very
Maybe someone
interested.
can see something we didn't. I'll check the chat in a couple minutes because it was a fight of those.
Yeah, right.
Go to. Maybe someone's a genius and see something like that. I don't know. That was really weird.
Yeah. Some play coming out from the side of Team Spirit. Like I said, on the bright side, they still do have the Ravage.
Radiant
Got the Blink
are
Dagger online
scanning.
now for the Oracle. They've got a courier over here. The smoke won't pop over to Racho. It's just a little bit too fast, though. They're not going to be able to go and cut him down. They do manage to find Maposhka's courier at the very least. Little bonk there coming out from the missile. Brought to Tokyo. Not right back in the team, though. Again, smoke.
Radiant's
Don't be-
middle tower is under attack.
Smoke's still on the side of Team Spirit. It's just feeling a little... I feel both sides. They're not fully ready to commit. It's been a very reluctant game. It's been neck and neck as well.
It's going to come down to a crazy fight at the end of it all. As Gyro, not quite 25. He does have Trickster Cloak. He's got all these great ways to protect himself. He still has the growth to be able to go with an Aghanim if he's able to pick down up the Plastic in particular. Wraith King has it 25 now. And Wraith King's starting to get to the point of maximizing, where I believe the Swift Blink is done now too. He's got a Penta edged as well, so he's kind of reaching his peak pretty soon.
It's just all about who gets the jump on who, it seems, in all of these fights. Yeah, there's a Swift Blink. The Lord. Bracho's going to be looking for whoever he can get his hands on.
Ooh, Itoro gets himself a Spell Prism. Nice pickup. I'm sorry, Toronto Tokyo finds himself a Spell Pickup. Prism, so that'll be really nice for the upcoming fights.
Collapse does have an Invis Rune. He's going to try to do a little bit of scouting here. Don't have any sentries. They do see the storm. Perhaps they can get the jump on him. Toronto Tokyo look in position to look for Mira immediately. They would like to just blow up Rebel as fast as they can, but he's got the BKB. He's going to be able to just zip around and just get out of this fight here. Cheshire Cat soaking up a lot of this damage. Toronto Tokyo turn his attention now, but they've got the Swift Blink over onto the back line. Zeracha, he's got his eyes over here onto the Rubik. He doesn't want them to steal the zip forward there coming out from Rebel. They get Mira. They're looking for Maposhka now as well. Maposhka trying to buy himself a little bit more time to toss up into the end. The Ravage comes out though from Collapse. Connecting over on 3. They have the Coldar. They've got plenty of damage. Maposhka use his ultimate on himself, but they will end up zipping through. Yamich will fall. They'll find the kill on Rebel. The buybacks are coming out now. They're not happy about this. Mapochka, he bought himself some time, but does eventually pop. And now Toronto Tokyo, he needs help. He needs to get out of there as fast as he can. And thank God he has the shard, because he should be able to break some ankles and teleport away just in the nick of time.
Chaotic fights. Rebel does buy back though. That's what caused all of Spirit to back away. They get on the supports. They get on both of the Oracle and the Rubik. Winstrike able to just pierce right through. They're starting to get too tanky. They're not afraid of this gyrocopter damage. They're not really afraid of the Ravage either. And now they're going to get themselves this Roche, which has a blessing on it.
I mean, that Ravage looked so nice there, but again, they're running out of damage, and they're running out of HP so that they can continue to do damage.
Immortality is
All right, get the axe
mine.
picked up now for the Wraith King. This is the... Okay, what have we found out here? Go back and we look at this.
Watching it again?
Yeah, we're watching it again. I'm not sure.
Radiant's
Did they
middle
discover
tower is
something?
under attack.
He's still fourth promise,
Radiant
so he shouldn't
structures
die.
are fortified.
No matter what happens, he can't die. Like, even if his stat reduction is changed, like, he shouldn't die. I don't know.
I don't know.
Very weird.
Well, we'll find out later. I'm sure there'll be someone in Twitch chat who will let us know that we have no idea what we're talking about. But they easily take the tower now over on the side of Winstrike. Aeon Disc picked up now for Toronto Tokyo. The burst damage has just been very, very strong coming out from these guys, so.
I'm still trying to... I'm sorry if I'm a little... I'm like looking up stuff. I have like a couple players messaging me. That was really...
Hey, I wanted to know. I'm fine with it.
Me too. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm sure
you know?
some people are calling us idiots and idiot casters, 2K MMR, AA Black, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Winstrike, though, they're really finding their footing. Like, this Wraith King is just way too big for them to deal with, and they're just too tanky, is really what I'm seeing. Like, this gyrocopter's damage is just not there. Even if he has Daedalus now, too, I feel like he's going to have to get to a Rapier territory.
I was about to ask.
To be able to deal with this Wraith King.
Are we hitting that time? Are we hitting where we need to be seeing the Rapier? He's got a Scotty queued up currently, but the Rapier might be necessary. I'm just worried that he's not going to be able to survive it. That is my one concern. And with Yatoro, there are, you've got Collapse very tanky, and they are just finding Mapochka on the back lines now, and he's been positioning himself very well, but it's immediately just running away here. Over on Daracho, realizing, okay, this camp's still there, though. They might be able to find something here. The rest of the team, though, Toronto Tokyo jumping on the back wall, just find the AA. Starting to try to burst him down here. Yes, they'll find the Gump Ottoman. Drag back, though, over onto this Oracle, and this is, feel like that's a rather dead Mira. So zip in as well. Toronto Tokyo somehow still alive, but they've got a lot of things just running at them. Pop that big disc able to go and pop the beat too. Gotta run though quick. Let's have that aspect. No. So he's gonna get the zip forward, and he's just so slippery. It's too difficult for them to kill Toronto Tokyo this time around.
Just them running from the fights, though. They just can't take the fight versus all these tanky cores. They get the kill on the AA, though. They force the buyback. So maybe the next one, if they can catch AA at the start of it, they have a chance. But they're too tanky. They really are just way too tanky for the most part for Team Spirit to deal with. This Void Spirit just doesn't really do that much damage. He does great control and all that, but versus all of these, they have too much damage.
Last of Winstrike, they smoke up. Team Spirit playing tightly together. I just need a really good pick off here on Winstrike, and the door's just open. I see Collapse. Got those spider legs, though. And the rest of Spirit. Oh, I don't know about this. This is a little scary here, but just managed to get 3 minutes at the ball. With the Ravage, but the BKBs are coming out of him. As Yatoro also popping his own BKB. They try to jump out to the backline. Rebel, he's taking too much damage. Yatoro already falls. They'll get that kill. Now Cheshire Cat somehow still alive. And again, this is the problem. We don't have enough damage coming out here from the side of Team Spirit, as they're just able to walk away. Yatoro needs to be so careful now, too. Although they do get the stun, they get the taunt out. That's going to be the reincarnation coming up now. Coming right back up again. Yatoro, be careful. Look at that Timber Chain. He just goes sliding right off that. And the 3-hit Vortex dragging them back as well. They're just trying to dodge in and out this entire time. Cheshire Cat, he's so gosh darn tanky. Eventually, though, does end up falling. Daracho also will now fall as Rebel just zipping out. Pentiment left behind. They get the Wraithfire Steel, and they turn it right around here.
Tokyo may be the sacrifice, but a sacrifice for a damn good reason, as the rest of the heroes are just able to cast everything. He gets a 3-man Dissimilate. started off, Ravage connects on 3 or
Dire's
4,
middle tower
but just
is
I
under
watch Miposhka in the fight. He sits behind everything and just free casts onto his gyrocop and full healing him during the
Dire's
entirety of it. And
middle
Yatoro
tower
just stands
has
his ground.
fallen.
He's able to actually hold it. And now there's no buybacks on
Dire's
3
middle
heroes.
tower
It's
is
just going to
under
be Storm and Wraith being able to fight back. That could be really difficult for them.
I feel like they do have to be a little bit careful because the Wraith King is very, very scary. But again, like you said, you know, the button pushing coming out from Miposhka here has just been so on point. And you've got a big tanky collapse here right in front. So can throw out the Wraith Fire and Blast immediately. The little missile. Follow him right back again. They'll use the fortification. Gotta buy some more time.
They can get this Rax. These two can't contest versus it's just now. It's going to be too difficult. Until Tiny's back up, I think even if Tiny's up, it's going to be too hard for them.
Dire's middle barracks.
Another gush over on Taracho. But looks like they'll respect. They'll back off.
I think I might have an answer, by the way.
Oh, what is it?
Some random person messaged me, so who knows if this is true or not.
Okay.
But they said, when you receive 10 buffs, and if your first buff actually gets removed after the 11th buff goes off.
Really?
Even though you had False Promise at 3/4 duration, he had too many buffs and it gets pushed off. I don't know how true that is, because I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
But the person who messaged me said they're 99% sure.
That doesn't seem right.
That doesn't seem right, because I only saw 2 buffs and like 8 debuffs. But I don't know. I'm still looking for explanations. Either way,
I mean, that's the first.
have completely come back in this game.
Yeah. That's. Oh, man, look at that. Look at the swing on the
Are
grass.
scanning.
They are hanging in there for sure.
Over here now.
These fights are just so chaotic. What's our gyro got now too? Did he purchase anything big? He's still hanging on to some gold. Now looks like he's gonna sell his treads, pick up the Scotty, and does he have buyback with it? It's gonna be close. Looks like he's just shy of it still.
Where's my pension? We'll need as 3 keys.
He had 10 debuffs and 2 buffs,
Stupendous.
is what we're getting from
Yeah.
production here. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but that's the first plausible one that I've heard. You know, one that kind of makes a little bit of sense, I guess.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
All right, they're hunting. Collapse. Spider leg smoked up. Hoping to grab
Big
someone here.
25s. Plus is 25 now. We did see the Storm hit 25 in the later instances there. Did take the bounces. Tidehunter's almost 25, so cooldown reduction will be pretty good.
Yeah.
Ravages.
Is under attack.
It's almost on the high ground though. Scotty is finished.
Got the Satanic as well. BKB will allow him to go and continue to lifesteal up, but they do force everyone home here. Process. I love this pickup. I was going to ask if Miposhka had the ninja gear because I keep seeing him smoked up in the back lines, and I figure that's the only way that's possible. It's just so good for him to be able to sit back and push those buttons.
Yeah, that's really what we saw just come into play in that last fight. Just him getting that perfect positioning because of it, and they're going to smoke for that fight here.
Where's the
The
party?
Ag Scepter completed now for the Storm.
That's a big one too, because he did have Timeless Relic, and I did see he did have the Ags beforehand, so could be some big pulls that he can get off.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Toronto Tokyo is showing in the top lane. Might try to make a play on him. He is separated from the group here. I guess the Yules. Can they stun him? Can they hold him in place? Does have the Aeon Disc too, but now that's popped.
Safe. That's why he's playing so risky up there. He knows he's not going to die. They don't have a Hex or anything to chain follow it up, so he should be okay when he plays like that.
That
It's a
felt
little
extra
scary,
risky
but-
though. Like he jumped right in front of the Storm Spirit with his face. Like, oh.
I think Toronto Tokyo's nickname should probably have a little risky in there too, because that's kind of how he plays most of the time.
Toronto Risky Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or Danger. Danger sounds good too. Yeah. Something with a T though. I feel like you got to keep up that alliteration, right?
Yeah, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
He does like his alliteration.
I'm sure someone will come up with something good.
I'm like thinking timid, and I'm like, wait, that's the
No,
other
no. That's definitely not Toronto Tokyo at all. Toronto Terrorizer?
Diracho's running out of space. Okay, he actually. Oh my goodness, he can.
That's-
full out commit
yeah.
for the Abyssal Blade.
Well, they need the lockdown. They are just running circles around them now.
Yeah, he doesn't have buyback anyway, since he did use it in the last one, so does just want to use out his gold for the next fight, just in case.
This is good pickup too from Miposhka. Except the Aeon Disc, it's just so important that he stays alive. He catches all these spells. Aeon Disc, of course, proccing over on Shet the cast. Jump forward here with a nice Ice Blast. Can they save him? Yes, again, he hits the buttons. He's going to be able to go and just hit all the things that are necessary. Followed up with a beautiful Ravage completing over onto 3. just trying to get enough damage over here onto Rebel. Can they get the Storm Spirit out in time? This is not looking good as Tiny has already fallen. Yes, they just hold him into place, and yes, all right, that's going to be the first step down. Right back up again, and they are just going to try to run for the hills here. They buy back over on Rebel. They find that Ancient Apparition. Lots of buybacks now.
As they also will finish off Phantom and Beck. I mean, they took the fight because they have the save, and yet Toro somehow does survive during all of it with a nice fall corners from Miposhka. They know Break Team doesn't have buyback, so they take the fight because Toro has buyback. So they take this one, they win the fight. Now pushes back up with a refresher and an Axe Blessing. Black's definitely looking for that blessing pretty soon. The fights are just so chaotic still. With Miposhka, he gets the save. That's the biggest one to look out for.
Gyrocopter gets himself a nice Axe Blessing now.
That's the dream. You build all the items up for pretty much being handed that blessing. His Titanic has got this that works out so well with that little side gunner. Pretty huge for him.
Spending his for free.
Yeah, his item progression just looks.
Oh boy, they rock right into the rush. Look at the damage coming out. He just immediately pops. Good God, as they follow up the call down coming in. They get the silence off over on the backline. So to Timbersaw, and they're trying to jump over onto Miposhka. They want to get rid of him. He is going to fall, but he's going to buy back. Yamich now, he's got the Spider Leg trying to run away, trying to buy himself a little bit more time, but they have the magic damages. They'll kill Yamich. Down for 107 seconds.
This next fight without the Tiny into double Ravage.
And
Ravage back up in 10, and they have the Shard. Boy.
They don't have reincarnation.
They don't. It's back up soon, though. 10 seconds. He's lucky to get out, though, honestly. I actually thought that was the game right there, because Diracho popped EKB before he died the first time, but he was able to blink out. Like, it was almost going to be the game right there. Team Spirit.
On the left. Jump forward from Diracho, but they have the Aeon Disc, and they follow up the Zipster coming out from the storm, but they took too much damage. All right, that's going to be the reincarnation. Right up again. Collapse getting in position. He has a nice breath. Over on to see the silence and stuff. Another one popped down as they just rid him into place. Down they go. Rebel is trying everything he can, but Mira is going to be protected by Miposhka, is hitting those buttons. Oh my word, buybacks coming out again. We've got the Timber and the Ancient Apparition. They don't want to fall here, but they don't have the damage, I don't think, Fogged. Chakra.
For such a long time.
Step forward, the lift up over on this Ancient Apparition. He just popped back. He can't afford to go down again, and he will. It's just the Storm Spirit and Timbersaw against the world. There's a nice vortex going in, but where's your follow-up? Where's your damage? The BKBs come out. They turn right back around to get Cheshire Cat. He's tried everything, but he's not going to be able to escape. They'll just go right back over, start hitting the buildings, hitting the Ancient. This is looking like the victory here for Team Spirit, because there's nothing that, unfortunately, this Storm can hope to do other than play a little cheap.
What a game, though. It was super close until just the last few moments.